I'm here to talk about my final reflection for the TE 150 Global Learning Project. Um, this this project was this final reflection is supposed to be with my partner as well, but unfortunately he did not want to be in the video, so I'm going to be reflecting on this alone. But I wanted to speak about first off the feelings that I felt strongest that stood out to me for during my interactions, and I'd say the three feelings that I felt strongest were um, an unsureness was the first feeling, and that's not kind of how I felt before. And then during was comfortable, and then after the interactions, I felt cultured. I feel like that's a little bit of a given, but I felt like after I interacted with Francesco, the Italian student that I got to interact with, I felt more aware of what my culture was and more aware of someone else's and at a first-hand experience. Um, and a specific time that happened was um, when we were talking about his schooling. He had a very strong understanding about a lot of American schools, um, because I think American culture is put out there in the media a lot. So he had a pretty good understanding of what we were all about, but I really didn't know anything about what it was like back in Sicily. Um, so I'd say me being able to really understand what schooling was like back in his hometown um, was one of the strongest feelings that stood out. Um, some things that kind of ties into the next question, which was some things that I felt differently about, and um, one thing I think that I felt completely differently about was my own culture, which is was interesting. I didn't expect to really find anything about my culture, but when I sat down for this project at first, I was kind of weary about what even my culture was. So I think being able to talk to Francesco and take him to places and um, things like that, I really got to see where my culture comes from and some of my beliefs, um, especially after going to the concert with him, and how comfortable I felt in that situation and how I could tell he was not uncomfortable, but he was just he kind of stood out and didn't really know what how people acted in this situation. So I kind of got to find out a little bit about myself as well. Um, and that ties into the next question, which is what did I learn about myself? And I think this overall was a positive experience. I think I learned, um, I got to learn what my culture really was, like I said, and that's something that I find very as a positive outcome from this. I'm glad that I feel comfortable with my culture and I feel passionate about it, and that's something I don't know if I had before. But when I got to interact with Francesco and really show him what I love doing and what I felt was part of me and part of my culture, um, that's something that I really took from this. Um, as for me as an MSU student, I think after these interactions, I want to experience more with other students who are from different countries. Being able to talk to people openly about their cultures and want to know about cultures is a really important thing, and I think a lot of people don't really take the time to do that. Um, Everyone loves to speak about their cultures, and was something I found out about after interacting with Francesco was how much he wanted people to know about where he's from and wanted to know about our culture as well. And so I think it would be an awesome thing for me to get involved more with that as an MSU student. And then lastly, how my these experiences influenced me as a learner and a possible educator. And I think these experiences influenced me the most in a way that was I became more understanding about how different cultures can affect the way someone else learns. And I think if I later on when I become an educator, I think that I'll take that like these interactions that I've had with Francesco, and put them more into the way I want to understand students who might be from different cultures, even if they're not straight from a different country. Everyone has a different home life, and everyone has different cultures. And if those kind of things aren't integrated into um, our educational system, then they're not going to be able to learn as well as someone else whose culture is. So I think as a learner and educator, I I want to take these interactions and put those in and put those into a greater thing later on in life. And that's all I have to say. I had a great time doing this project, and thank you very much.